Yeah. Tune in, lock in. Yeah, we back again. It's the aisle in your headphones. Call a friend. Real talk, real takes. Cut the noise. It's that mindful moment for the boys and girls. From the front to the back, we claiming his name. Got a story and a testimony. Put a name on the game. You are now tuned into the aisle. Let's go. From the first word, last word, he's in control. Hit play, lean back, let the truth unfold. It's the show. It's the show. On air now. Let's roll. Deep dive, quick hit. We can shift on a dime. From the laughs to the lessons, all in one line. Got the crew, got the gas. Every voice, every view. If you're ready for freedom, here's your cue. You are now tuned into the aisle. Let's go. From the first word, last word, he's in control. Hit play, lean back, let the truth unfold. It's the show. It's the show. On air now. Let's roll.
Hey y'all, welcome back to The Aisle. I'm Blake, this is my co-host Pt.1.
What up?
We have another episode for you guys. We haven't said this in prior videos, and we did it maybe in the last one.
Yes.
But be sure to like and subscribe and share the video, especially if something's blessed you or really speaks to you. We want to make sure that we get this to the people that need to see it and that it reaches the lost as well. But yeah, if you would do that, like and subscribe, hit the like button. YouTube, they love the like button. So
Love it.
hit that little thumbs up for us if you will. For today, we have a special treat for you guys. I go way back with this couple, college days. Yeah, I think it was like 2011 maybe.
Oh
Something
gosh,
like that.
yeah.
Something like that, yeah. Like maybe fall of 2011. But they are very near to my heart. Love them so much. These are the Bices, Megan and Jacob. They're going to talk a little bit about their story. So yeah, take it away, guys.
All right. Well, I'm Megan,
I'm Jake.
and our story together came together in 2013.
Maybe.
But
You
yeah,
didn't seem confident in that.
just trying to think at how old I was.
But she started that.
I'm like 23, so 13.
And math is hard. There's a bad point.
Yes. So we met in 2013. I came from Louisiana, grew up, born and
Different country.
raised.
Completely different country. Different country.
But it was great. We moved to Tennessee in 2005 when my dad got.
I'm going to stop you there
Oh, yes.
because we need to make this reference. This is Toby Bro's daughter.
Yeah.
Toby was on in season 1. My mentor shaped a lot of my life and my walk with Christ. So special place in my heart. I'm still praying about Megan. She's the right child of the Bro family. But anyway, just so you can put 2 and 2 together when she says we moved.
Yes.
This is the move.
My dad, his job, and so parents married, happily married. I have one sister. We're 15 months apart, so very close. I always joke and say I was born and born again in the same day.
Yeah.
Like we grew up Christian.
Yeah.
And it's because of my parents. And
Yes. And to be fair, Hannah's actually the rogue sister.
I think it's completely Hannah.
Let's be honest. Let's be honest.
He was paid to say that.
Let's endorse Bice. Paid endorsement. Thank you.
But we grew up with parents who didn't have the same testimony that my sister and I are going to have. They made the family that they wanted.
Yeah.
And that's why I just have the best encouragement from them for other people. And also I work on my compassion in that way as well. With kind of the victim mentality that can come on all of us.
Yeah.
But seeing that it's like weren't dealt the best cards or all of this, and it's like my parents weren't, and they made phenomenal childhood. They are the most steadfast, as advertised as you see people. They're not perfect, and they live those imperfections out. And
Yes.
they live everything. Just my mom always says when she raised us, she tried her best, whether it was failing or succeeding. She
Right.
did it with all her might.
Oh, yeah.
Mm.
And so that's really all that you can do. So I grew up with those influences, like just perfect, like perfect,
Yeah.
examples.
Yeah.
Which is daunting. Uh, it is intimidating.
Yeah.
But I never swayed from the Lord. Of
Yeah.
course, there's always up and downs. There's always up and downs. But I went to school here and went to Master's Commission in Atlanta. And
what is
so
that? Run
it
that by
is
me.
a Bible college.
Okay.
So it's an
Okay.
intensive discipleship program.
Gotcha.
You have to be invited back each year, kind of thing.
So
and
just
so-
1 year. No.
Yeah.
You also have to
Just
fundraise for your stuff as well.
You just work while you're there, and
Yeah.
there are no scholarships.
Right.
And so I went in and I was like, I'm just going to be here half a year.
Right.
And
That
the
was-
director at the time, he was like, because I only had half the money raised, and he was like, you're going to be here the whole year. And I looked at him and I said, unless you're going to pay for it, I'm going to be here half a year.
Right.
Like, unless you're paying for it, I'm a realist.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
So, yeah, I'm very much a black or white kind of person.
Right.
And I went later in life, which was a great call. Places like that,
Yeah.
you really need to have spiritual discernment and
Yep.
maturity to be in those places, because you get kids coming right out of high school who are spiritually vulnerable or finding Christ in those atmospheres that are microwave-based atmospheres. And you put your hope and stuff in a program or in a person.
Yep.
And if that falls apart, which a lot do face turmoil, the one I went through did, then your faith gets rocked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
My
so-
cousin Lacey did Faith World in Orlando when she did Masters.
Yeah. Yeah. Ours years later came under scrutiny and some stuff came out, but I had already left and I got
Gotcha.
invited back for 3 years and I didn't feel led to go back for the third year.
Gotcha.
'Cause she met me.
No, I was fine. I had met him after my first year and I went back for a second year. We were long distance. I was 22 when we met. And we were long distance the first 9 months. And we say that was the worst and best thing
Right.
because it forced us to communicate, which apparently I was not good at communicating. Yeah, apparently.
I've got a few stories.
What's
on
that?
Yeah.
Faith World? I mean, like Masters, that's a big commitment, you know?
Yeah, so I was not great at communicating, and it forced us because all we had was talking on the phone. I had a dumb phone. There was no FaceTiming. And
Right.
Yeah.
No, there was.
So-
You just couldn't.
Like, what's that?
Yeah. No FaceTiming.
There was no internet.
Black and white TVs back in 2013.
That record player was just
Modern convenience.
Yeah, exactly. Didn't have it in you, man.
The dark days of
I
2013.
made fun even back then about that. Like, get a different phone.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to pay for it.
I mean, you're not
Yeah.
wrong.
So
You're not wrong.
yeah, so we met. He was my first boyfriend. And so at 22, I was never really interested in dating.
Right.
Granted, I had crushes.
Are you 22?
I was 22 when we met.
Are you sure?
Oh, I just turned 23.
There you go.
There it is.
Mm.
I just turned 23 that week that we met, actually.
Mm.
So happy birthday.
Yeah.
Yes, Jake.
Yeah, here's the guy.
Here's a guy.
Spend the rest of your
Here's a
life
guy.
with. And I prayed
Why not?
him away.
Wow.
Oh,
She
yeah.
did.
The
Wow.
first year Master's Commission, it's you don't have any relationship, which I'm like, no problem.
Right.
So
No
Check that.
we should probably set a little context, right? So she went first year master's commission, and we
Right.
met during summer break between year
Mhm.
1 and year 2.
Gotcha.
So she's coming off of a year of like men are the devil, right?
Ish.
They are a distraction.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
are. They are like
that's it.
they essentially are just the gateway drug into
Yeah.
into
A
demonism
sinful life,
yeah,
and
witchcraft,
sinful life,
everything.
But-
Alcoholism.
So I get the perspective of outside looking in, right? She told me about Bible college, and she told me about this master's commission thing, and I have gone and experienced what, like, the parents' day or the family day, where you
Right.
come in and you see what's going on, and we're going to Victory World Church out in Atlanta, massive church.
I just
Michael
want to
Jordan.
say the name of them.
Oh,
Well, maybe you can edit that out, but either
Hey,
way.
but in that season,
Like,
it was bumping. That's all right.
I mean, either way, like,
Lives were changed. People probably feel safe from that.
it was a great program, great church, and at the time of all of that stuff, it was phenomenal and it was wonderful. Nothing to disparage all of that, but the stories of like how they do things, incredibly intense. And I remember, I joke about it and laugh about it now, but I remember talking to Megan and being like, "Yeah, that's not a college, that's a cult." And I don't feel that way. Like, I want to make it very clear. I don't feel.
That's what I heard of marriage, man.
But it's very easy.
Some of them can be. Some of them
Some of
do
them
go
are,
that way.
Yeah.
And that's why I say you have to, like, I definitely needed my 22 years of being a Christian in discernment to go into that program
Right.
with as strong as I was. And I was with a lot of people who were not. I was one of the oldest first years. And I have such long lasting friendships. I was on my friend's podcast a couple months ago.
Okay.
And those were two friends I met in Bible college.
Gotcha.
And her first year was my second year. And that year she had lost her father, and like
Wow.
our bond just grew. And so I am still, another one just came and visited at our house. She was driving through. She's like, she just stopped by. And I was like, yes. And so still have long lasting friendships from that.
Right.
But there's things that they did that I was like, I'm not going to do that because I don't feel comfortable. And I don't feel bad saying that. People are like, how are you saying that? I was like, because they're not the gauge of my discernment. God is.
Exactly.
And so.
But it was big about relationships, which obviously she has a lot of great relationships in Canada. They had these things called, I think it was AC mother and AC father.
So they had AC families, which is accountability families.
Okay.
Oh.
And they would say like AC dad, AC mom kind of thing.
Gotcha.
And they sometimes took it to a weird level where they're like, you call us mom and dad. I was like, I don't need a mom and
I
dad.
have one.
I need a Manny and an Aaron.
Yeah.
I don't need mom and dad. I'm not going to call you that. And one of the people over there, they're like, we all call her mom. And I was like, I'm not gonna. Like, it's just.
My mom's at home.
That's not what I need.
Right. Just wait for
It
the
is
call.
whatever you need at that time. But that's not what I need, and that's not. And they did harp on that once we went into the second year, like, don't make it weird. But then they kept on saying that stuff. So I'm like, please don't call me mom, dad. I'm not.
See,
but I'm what you need.
When you said AC, I thought, oh, that's short for cool. So that's the cool mom. That's the cool dad.
Oh, that's what they were going for.
Appreciate those guys.
It's giving young life. It's giving young life.
And we had ISIs, which is iron sharpens iron. And so we had ISIs, which is one-on-one accountability partners. So they had a great model, a great setup.
It was the thing to do too. I will say, even in my youth group, like my cousin going, and then like you would want to go to masters because it was like the thing. To do,
Yeah.
Right?
If you wanted to stamp that you were Christian, that's what you went to.
Yes.
But I didn't go till later. I went to college for a couple years, and then it's like, I don't feel this is the path anymore. I don't feel the call to be a nurse. I felt the call to help, and so it just took some time and searched it out and prayed about it, and this just kind of fell into my lap.
So,
can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So where did you go to college for those 2 years?
MTSU.
MTSU.
And then I technically have an associate's degree, and I have enough credits to have a bachelor's. I just don't have the title because I did college credits at the Master's Commission. They became accredited, and so they had a Bible college we went to as well.
Gotcha.
So I technically have the credits for it, but I have like a 2-year associate's for biblical counseling.
Gotcha.
I love that.
I asked that because last episode we talked a little bit about university life. When people actually start leaving their homes and they have to experience this whole culture of melting pot chaos, is really what it is.
Yeah, which I was living at home going to MTSU because we lived like 8 minutes away.
Right, which was a benefit.
Yes.
So, yeah, you didn't have to actually leave home and go live that. It was kind of like, I'm going to work and then I'm coming back home.
Yeah, I mean, you can still, like, I was very much the same when I was at MTSU. I lived at home and I worked on campus for some of my time, and then I worked at the church for some of my time. But when I was working on campus, it was very much like you can feel like just the difference in culture.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember towards the end of my college days, it was like, if I'm on campus, I've got headphones in, I've got sunglasses on, and a baseball cap, and I am here to go to class and leave.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not interested
Yeah.
in the culture. I'm not interested in being a part of that because it was just, it's crazy. It's different.
It's very different, and it's very overwhelming.
Yeah.
Especially like we were talking to Quincy in April. April came from a small town of 700 people, and then to go to a big town with a university and just overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Completely seeing all this things happening, all these different people, all the different ways of thinking. And so we were just kind of talking about like why that happens, and also being mindful as parents, like preparing our kids for that.
Right.
Yeah.
And that kind of means the shelter our children mentality can't really be beneficial to them
Yeah.
as they get older. Like there's a point where you're like, okay, I'm going to have to give you space to make mistakes and then teach you how to get up from those mistakes and learn who you are in the middle of those. Because if your first time being free and allowed to make mistakes is I'm going to the university, that's not the place.
No.
For that. Yeah.
My biggest thing is I want sheltering them is not going to do it.
It doesn't help them.
It's having that open communication for me is what I am wanting the kids to have, like making it a safe place that, hey, whatever you face, whatever you hear at school, you can always come and talk to mom about it. You can always come and ask me questions. I want to try to get the first, like, jump in on where we stand with certain issues and like, hey, you're going to hear this. This is, but as things pop up, I want them to come to me. I want them to have safe places where they can talk to those people. And so building that connection, because you can't shelter them enough, because in this world, man, it's just scary. And
you
I
just have to lock them in the basement.
I went to public school my whole life, and my sister and I grew up, and the public school we were at, they knew us as Christians. We living in Louisiana is like, we lived in a town of less than 1,000 people. It was a village, and in that small village there were 2 Catholic churches. Like, it's just a Catholic soaked communities down there. So we were the only non-Catholic people in our school, but our friends respected us and they all knew us for that.
Here they come.
I'm like, I'm Christian. They're like, I am too. And I'm like, no, you're not.
Meet me after school.
No,
Fight about it.
no, I'm Christian. So I'm like, Mom, what am I? She's like, you're Christian. I went to my grandfather's church, like non-denominational, but at like first grade, you don't know what that is. So yeah, we grew up in that and went to private school for 1 year and hated it. Because the kids are just, they're so fake. We weren't a fan of it.
It's private schools are interesting.
Yeah, we got that introduction. So we came from a town of less than 1,000 people, but we moved when we were in like 10th and 11th grade, me and my sister. And so Siegel was like 3 times the size of our town. So we got that introduction in high school, was able to kind of get our feet underneath us with church friends and stuff like that before being thrown into
the real world.
Just university.
Which is terrifying sometimes.
To complement that, I came from Michigan.
Up north too?
I came from Tecumseh, Michigan. And when we moved 2008. I believe 2008. And just before my high school year, like my first high school freshman year. So I went from middle school and then the whole new world.
Middle school in the north.
Middle school in the north.
To high school
in the south.
To high school in the south.
Welcome. We're
yeah.
glad you're here.
Culture shock was the name of the game, essentially. The small town that we were from, I think, had about 10 or 11,000 people, so not quite as small as her village. But I went from...
You were a township.
Right. I went from a class of like a total like 60, 70 kids in my class to 600 or 700 in high school in my freshman year, which was, it's a huge difference. So yeah, that was quite difficult to navigate as a freshman. But I mean, I share a lot of the sentiment. Public school my entire life. People, I did not grow up as a Christian, not necessarily. Like, my family had been in and out of church. The parents had always done the best that they can to keep us in church, but they had their own things going on. Like, they had their own family issues that we were dealing with. We had, essentially divorce as a threat in the house at some point. It didn't actually come to fruition, thankfully, but you still felt the shocks of that.
Yeah.
And so, they had their own things that they're trying to figure out. And my sister, she was about 5 years older than me, so she was Megan's age roughly the entire time, maybe a year difference or something. Yeah. But like she's just finishing high school, and we're moving to Tennessee. And so it was a really good time for us to move because she had just finished high school. I was just about to go into high school. It made sense. Like, it makes sense. I understand why we did it that way.
To them, yeah, to adults, yeah.
And,
Those were great.
and I mean, for my sister, it's like she's trying to figure out, like, what am I going to do in my life?
And I know no one here.
Right, and I know no one here. And for me, it's like I've lost all of my friends, and now I have to go into, like, what am I going to do in high school? Like, so it was a good time and a bad time.
Yeah.
It was rough. But public school, I mean, man, that's a beast in and of itself. I don't know that I'm ever going to be comfortable with sending my children to school. I'm not sure.
Just found a magnet for a charter school. One, two.
I mean, yeah, it's crazy.
Public school next year.
We have
The
come.
babies, no.
Yeah, they are.
Must be.
It's wild.
Must be.
We have come so far from when we were. I mean, we were talking about this on the drive over, having gone from 2013 to today. I mean, we have. Well, I'm sure we'll talk about this more, but we have twin 5-year-olds.
Yeah.
And about to be 3.
Firecracker 3-year-olds.
Yeah, a firecracker 3-year-old.
The boss.
Yeah.
We'll just call her the boss.
Yeah. But your high school, you didn't necessarily come out unscathed. You finished it with finding God, but you were in it and you found a lot of your wild oats. My public school is like, we were always who we were. We moved at the right time. Because the small school that we were at, there's just a party crowd. I mean, Louisiana, you can drink at 18, all this stuff.
Different country.
Yes, all of this stuff. And so for me, public school wasn't that like scary because I'm like, no, they can still be who they are. And Jacob's like, it's the worst.
It's the worst.
It's
the worst place in the world.
Hey, don't find their footing. We moved out at the right time from the place we were at. And I remember, I just told my mom this the other day. It's not a story she remembers, but like in 7th grade, getting the talk about like being responsible with alcohol and not drinking and driving and just putting all these things as facts and like when you're gonna drink and all this stuff. And so I remember going in the car after school and I had my best friend and her sister and my sister on the car and they're like, when are you gonna drink? And I was like, I'm definitely gonna wait till I'm 18. And I was so proud of that decision because it was never brought up in our house. My parents never drank, but because they didn't, it was never a topic we ever talked about. And so that night, my mom was like, I was so disappointed. And I was gut wrenched. I was so hurt by her saying that because I thought I was doing the right thing. It's like definitely 18, maybe 21. And then I just didn't know that like, hey, and it's drinking, like we've had this talk, like drinking itself, not a sin. For us, like something it's like, that's fine. Not necessarily anything that we really participate in because we don't want to cross that threshold for us. And so, like, it's like we're not against it, but it's not something we like
it's not your jam.
Actively participate in public or something like that. Or even we don't keep it in our house or anything like that. And so, but if that wasn't ever really presented to us, because I don't think they really thought about having those conversations. So those stuff is just So
And I'll interject too. Meeting Jake in college, you couldn't tell me that he didn't grow up in a Christian household. Like Jake was so fun, but his heart for like servanthood, like he came to Chi Alpha and literally was just like not the yes man because he's good at boundaries, but he just was involved doing all of it. He was like, I'm gonna keep going. What do you got? Give it to me. Give it to me. I got it. Oh, you need this done? Organization? Oh, calendar? Oh, I got you. And I'm like, yes. And for me, it was a godsend because I felt like I was doing a lot. And I'm like, then Jacob showed up and I was like, this is perfect. A person that loves to help.
Yeah,
a doer.
That's so interesting too because I mean we're getting back to roughly around the time where we met. She's coming in as this career Christian into the relationship, and I'm coming in as like a year-long convert. I got saved at 17 in youth group at church. And
we started dating right before you turned 19.
Yeah. And so yeah, I had been saved essentially for a year and some change.
Yeah.
And so it was one of those. It was very daunting, when you're talking and you're asking around the church, like, who's this Megan person? I've never seen. Like, I don't know who that is. And they're like, oh, you're talking about Megan Bro? You're talking about like board member Toby Bro's daughter?
Correct.
You're talking about
The princess?
like,
Yeah. No, like, you need to make a different choice.
like, board member Toby Bro.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's
I mean, The Rock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so funny too, because I can tell you that like the initial intimidation of a young kid going up to Toby Bro and
Oh,
being
yes.
like, you're a board member. The initial intimidation.
I'm still intimidated.
Yeah.
That's funny. I've got some
Yeah.
stories. But the initial intimidation, I can tell you, in one day was completely like it flipped on its head.
Right.
Like you go and you meet Tobe. I call him Tobe. Actually, I call him Toblerone more than I call him anything else. But you go and you meet Tobe, and it's like, he's incredibly down to earth.
Yeah.
He's incredibly passionate for the things of God. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know that I've met somebody more passionate. Sorry, Meg, but I don't know that I've met somebody more passionate for that relationship than Toby. And I still remember the day that I went up to him in the comfort of his home, so he can do whatever he wants. But I went up to him.
You have the gun on the table?
No, much worse.
Oh, a shotgun.
He was wearing his running shorts.
Oh, yeah.
So, for the sake of not painting too much of a picture,
Yeah, don't.
his running shorts are just incredibly short.
Yeah,
And so,
Yeah.
as somebody who's like, hey, I'm about to talk to you, to like try to date your daughter. But I can see more of your pasty legs than I can see of you.
Yes.
Right? It's like,
He's letting you know I can run faster than you.
correct. Yeah, I can catch you when you ask this question. I can catch you. I can run you down. So yeah, I mean, no, that definitely didn't happen that day. And I remember you asking me like, hey, did you ask my dad? And I'm like, no. He was wearing
No.
the shortest thing I've ever seen a human being wear.
I was in shock.
So come out.
I'm like, I can't.
Not the dick come out.
I literally couldn't. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't have that conversation. And I'm like, that's a very good deterrent. And I locked that away in the back of my mind for when my daughter.
Yes.
So I'll be breaking up the Speedo that day.
Mhm.
Not the Speedo. Help. Do a run.
No.
But it's funny because you do so much. That relationship, like eventually obviously we did have that conversation and he was all about it, and that's a funny story in and of itself, because you can compare the day that I asked Toby if I could date his daughter to the day that I asked Toby and Tammy if I could marry their daughter. And I mean, what a comparison that was. I showed up to ask Toby if I could marry or if I could date his daughter, and that was just a conversation out on the back porch.
Right.
And that was, he opened up the Bible and talked about intentions and talked about, these different things. And he asked to pray with me over it. And I was like, I love this. This is great.
Yeah.
And then the conversation where I showed up and asked Toby and Tammy, and I had a PowerPoint presentation talking about like
As Jacob does.
my job and my budget, how fiscally responsible I was prepared for this. Got this. Like, I showed up with all of this, like
If you need a
prepared.
percentage off the top, I've allocated a spot for that.
It's like college, working part-time at the
Right.
church.
Yeah.
Well, we got a 5-year plan.
Let me pull up my spreadsheet. I'll show you what I got.
Yes, it's right sheets.
And so that was just it's fun. And the Bro household, which I still get flack for not taking their name as opposed to going the other way around. It is nice to be one of the Bros, but the Bro household is such a loving and wonderful like family to be a part of. And so I count my blessings every day for that. But yeah, your dad should burn those shorts.
Yeah.
He still has them present day?
I'm
Probably.
sure he does. I'm sure he does.
Yeah, he's
That
not
man
growing.
has not gained weight since high school.
Yeah, he's the same
No.
class.
He
So
seems us.
It's the same.
that's nice. So,
Those shorts are probably fine.
Thank you. Look,
I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
Other side, man.
I don't want to think about it.
You probably were about to find out that day. It's been terrifying, honestly. Yeah, Toby's an amazing guy. Your mom, though, is an excellent communicator. Like,
Mhm.
some of
Yeah.
the different things that, like, we were going through a season where I was obviously meeting with Toby, but there were times where me and my wife would go meet with your parents.
Yeah.
And just the things that she shared and how she communicated to y'all growing up.
Yeah.
Just really kind of shaped a lot of the ways that we raised Kaylee, and just different mindset. It's not like, oh, well, you're just terrible at it. Like, no, I just never thought of that.
Yeah.
You know, and so just the way that she communicates, the way that she thinks outside of the box of taking opportunities to teach you responsibility by setting the responsibility in your lap,
Yeah.
essentially, and saying, okay, now you got to make a choice with this, you know, and here's the good, here's the bad, and all those things. So that's one of the things I love about your mom is just the ability to communicate, and not in this way of making you feel less of,
Yeah.
but just like, have you considered this?
Yeah.
Right? Like, if you're going to make this choice, have you considered this, this, and this?
Yeah.
So,
She once told me I'd give the best hugs, so I now put that on my resume.
For sure.
Because Tammy said it's true.
certified.
Thank you. Thank you.
Certified. So you come with the PowerPoint, and you lay down the law and the percentages. So how long from that time until you guys get married?
We were engaged like a year,
I don't remember.
little less than a year.
Probably less
Probably.
than a year.
Okay. Take her word for it.
But I will say one of the best things, and Mom says this story. She told Jacob, she's like, "You're coming in here and you're asking to take my baby."
Yeah.
And Jacob said, "Well, Miss Tammy, I was really hoping that it'd be the other way around and you would take me."
Yeah.
Ah.
Mm.
She's like, Jacob,
thank you.
I don't see it."
Got her. She thought at you. She said, yeah, that little turd worm is what he's just like, you got the mess. You got the mess. Don't play. Thank you. You got the
My
mess.
whole
Thank you.
family is a golden kid.
He said, let me go to page 45 of the
Correct.
playbook here.
Exactly. That's actually the bad part. I think you're going to say that. Yeah. Calculate.
But yeah,
Give me a moment to go to the next slide.
Yes.
Hold on. Yours.
We'll continue.
You're jumping the gun a little bit.
But yeah, my parents are the reason why I say you can make your family whatever you want, because
Yes.
they didn't have the examples. They made it how they want it.
Yes.
And Jacob is the reason that I say it doesn't matter how long you've been serving the Lord. It matters how on fire you are for him.
Oh, yes.
Because being serving the Lord for 22 years, just got back from Bible college, and my heart was drawn to a guy who's been serving God for a year and a half.
Yeah.
And there was no settling that I was going to do.
Yeah.
And so it was on track, on par.
Absolutely.
So it doesn't matter age, like spiritual age, any kind of age.
Yeah.
Right.
So those are.
Because the real fact is the Lord's going to mature us anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for people to go into marriages thinking, well, he's got to have it all together, or she's got to have it all together, is ludicrous.
Oh yeah.
Sure, absolutely ludicrous. But so many people do that, and then they're disappointed and let down, like, oh. And this is also why when you become one family unit, the word tells us that you leave
Yeah.
or cleave, right? So there are certain relationships, like, it's not just leaving mom and dad. There are certain relationships that aren't going to be healthy for your marriage,
Oh, yeah.
especially if you got some of those single friends that are going to be like, see, I told you, you shouldn't have messed with him. And like,
Yeah.
understanding, like, we are works in progress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I've been married over 20 years and we're still a work in progress.
Yeah.
We're still growing. We're still maturing in areas, still developing,
Yeah.
still changing. Right. And so it's keeping up with all of that and understanding, like, there's always going to be something that you can either sit and focus on, or you can partner and say, hey, let's get better at this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Communication is our biggest thing that we truly try to push for, but it's because we made a focus that, like, he is my best friend.
Mm-hmm.
And so when they're your best friend,
Yes.
who do you want to talk to about stuff going on? Your best friend.
Absolutely.
So if your partner is your best friend, then they're the one you want to communicate when something is going off,
Right.
even if it's with them. So we always, we would never walk out of a room in the middle of an argument. That happened once, and came back and we were like, no, we sit down. We're both very strong opinion.
Wow.
Jacob has a lot on that.
I can't imagine that.
From the northernmost to the southernmost. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Literally.
Sorry, I am so far south that we now have our independence as a woman.
Yes. Contrary to your beliefs.
Yeah.
I mean, it's always interesting when you talk about relationships and you talk about marriage. She said I'm her best friend, and Hooper's mine.
Yes.
Kidding. It's coming back.
No, but
I'm out of this relationship.
but I mean, you talk about relationships, and it's funny. I'll start with friendships, because the friendships that I had when I got married are not the same friendships that I had when now, like
Yeah.
today, which
Yeah.
I don't know that anybody can expect all friendships to survive 10
God.
years of life, but the different frame that puts you in now that you're married and now that you're doing, like, it is completely different.
Yeah.
And so you find yourself gravitating towards people that are in that same kind of phase of life as you, and
Yeah.
same kind of stuff there. I'll also say, we mentioned that, spiritual age may not matter quite as much. Physical age may not matter quite as much when you're getting married. I do remember during our marriage counseling that there was this idea that we had to make sure we were compatible, and biblically we wanted to make sure that the term used when we were going through this was that we were of equal yoke.
Right.
So the idea is that if one person is, let's say, a day one convert to Christ, and another person is that career, Christian,
Mhm.
they are probably not equally yoked. One person is going to be treading forward
Right.
in their Christian life, and the other one's going to be kind of dragging behind. And so most of the weight of that Christian relationship is going to be on one half of the group. And so thankfully we found ourselves, equally yoked enough. And that's not to say that it wasn't without challenges.
Oh yes.
Megan
100%.
is an incredible person.
Yes.
And a very strong personality.
Yes.
And it is very secure in who she is and her relationship with Christ, and there is no changing that.
Right.
And so there was, and I hear me when I say this, because I mean this with as much sincerity and tact as I can.
Is this when she put you in the
Headlock? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think the same.
Megan is awesome, but I struggled with one thing, and she struggled with the opposite of that during the early days of our marriage.
Gotcha.
Early days of our marriage, I struggled with being the spiritual leader.
Yeah.
I struggled with being the head of the household, because not only am I young, like just really young. I'm 19 when we got married, right? 20? What am I, 21?
You're 20. You're 21.
21? 21 when we got married. 19 when
That's
we
what
got
we're saying. Sorry, 21.
Sorry, 19 when
It's 19 from the record.
21 when we got married.
Yeah, you're about to be 22.
Yeah, about to be 22. I'm still incredibly young.
Oh yes.
And she's 5 years older than me, roughly 4 years older than me.
Four-ish.
Oh, I say 5 because it's 4 years and 2 months, and there's 2 months out of the year where you're 5 years older than me. 4 years older. But like, she's just done more life than I have.
Right.
And so, I'm trying to catch up as not only a man, but as a human, as somebody who's spent time with the Lord. I'm trying to catch up and be that head of household. And at the same time, Megan's trying to relinquish some of those things, but that's hard. Yeah, it's hard to do.
Oh yes.
And it's not meant to be, we're not talking about this like, go in the kitchen and do the dishes and make me a sandwich kind of relationship. That's not what we want. That's never what I want.
Right.
Right. What I want is a partnership. What I wanted in marriage was a partnership. I wanted somebody who would call me out on the things that don't make sense, and to encourage me in the things that do. But that's hard. That's difficult to do.
Yeah.
And so I think, looking back, we laugh about a lot of things that we had done originally, but we came up with a lot of really good ideas in the early days.
Yeah.
So first time we did our budget.
Yes, our budget was a big thing to come together, because I'm very we got to be independent. I've just put myself through 2 years of Bible school, all by myself. I tithe off the stipend they gave me, which was my money coming back to me to buy groceries. I gave it back. That's not I owe $3,000. $5 isn't gonna do me anything. So I tithe. I'm we don't ask for help, and he came with a young personality. He was like, oh yeah, it's totally fine. And I'm no. And I was very strict. And so then he started doing budget. And so with him, if he sees the number, he's okay, that's what I have to spend. and he's going to spend it.
Yeah.
And for me, I worked with monthly budgets. He saw a monthly budget and he spent that in the first week. And he's like, I need a weekly budget. And I don't know why it was so hard for me to relinquish that.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's a week. Like, and I was
Yeah.
like, no, just be better. Just do it in your head.
Do it right.
Yes,
Ministry budget, you know?
just put it in your head that he's like, I'm not going to be able to.
My head doesn't work that way.
Yeah, it was like a 2-hour long conversation we had about that, about how we were going to budget, but we knew it was important. We got on the same page with our budget. And then, so I was like, okay, we can go to weekly. And then we talked about how many savings accounts we wanted. And I was like, I need 2. And he's like, why? And I was like, well, because we need an emergency one and we need one for just if things pop up. And he's like, but they're the same. I was like, it's a mental thing on if you pull into the emergency.
Yes.
And there's one that will never touch unless like a big car problem or something comes up. I was like, and then this one, that birthdays come up, different things. We can pull from that. And he didn't understand it, but he gave into it. Now we have 3 savings accounts and 3 checkings. So, and it grew. And then tithing for him, he was like, I give before tax. And I was like, I never have. Like, I tithe my whole life. I was like, that's something I never thought of.
Yeah. Right.
And you don't know until somebody brings it up. And in that moment, if you get that conviction, then it's on you to do better.
Right.
And so when he brought it up and I was like, okay, well, if you have that conviction, I don't want to lower your standards. So I am gonna, come up to yours.
Yeah.
And so we talked about that and how we set on tithing. And again, we broke it up in weeks and set automatic payments and wanted to up our percentage and all of these things.
Yeah.
But we had to make a system.
Yes.
And we did. We ended up making a system that served us very well.
Yeah.
I mean, we had first done our budget before we came up with the system. We just did the how much money's coming in versus how much going out budget, just to see what the number is at the end of the month. It's negative $17. Like, not great. Not great.
Like, he was still in college. He was working at the church. We were living in an apartment attached to his aunt's house.
Right.
Yeah.
I was working my job and I was making less than what I thought I was. So I was making like 25 or something.
Rent
and
was $200 a month.
It was expensive.
They just were like, pay for water and electricity. And we were like, okay, such a blessing. His aunt and uncle were such a blessing. But we lived in like a less 600 square foot, like little apartment attached to a home as a newlywed couple.
Wow.
Yeah.
And we did it and we stayed consistent. And gave, and I remember like where God brought us. I was thinking about this the other day, that when a missionary or something would come to the church, that we knew without even asking each other that, okay, it'll be $20 is what we can do. And that was like, that was a stretch for us. And then to see where God has brought us from it, where it's just like, and giving, we've always been on the same page. And we know some couples, some great Christian couples, that's not necessarily the case.
Yeah.
But we'll just look at each other at something and it's like, hey, this amount, and it'll be something that's a little higher. And we're like, yeah, that's what God's saying, let's do it.
Yep.
And it's like, hey, my friends are coming into town. I was thinking, he's like, go and treat them.
Yep.
And it's like, I was thinking the same thing. I was wanting to do this. Yep. Let's do it.
Yep.
And just on the same page.
Yeah.
And I thank God for that.
So, and we talk about like our individual stories and our combined story. Both of us growing up were not families of affluent wealth.
Right.
Yeah.
Like small families, small towns. We're not rolling in the cheddar.
Right. Small family, small town, small budget.
I mean, when we moved,
Not trust fund.
It all
They trusted me to fund myself.
Okay.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
Oh my gosh.
When
Wow.
we moved to Tennessee, we moved because we bankrupted on our house. Like we had nothing.
Yeah.
Dirt poor. And so, our family's always found a way. I don't know that we were ever at a position of lack, but we always found a way. But we just didn't know what it meant to have money. So when we first got, married, and we're not going to talk hard numbers or anything like that, but when we first got married and we did our budgets and, saw how much money we were making, and now that we've been together for almost a decade, right, we have seen our income increase 5-fold.
Yeah.
Truly 5-fold.
Yeah.
And it's easy to look back on that and be like, oh, well, part-time worker, I had no career, now I have a career,
Right.
Things have changed. It's easy to like look at all of the accomplishments I've made in the last 10 years. It's easy to look and say that.
Oh, yes.
But at the same time, I know who I am, and I know the stupid human I can be. And I look back at that and I say, I can't see anything other than God's hand on our life.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
And I can't point to anything other than our faithfulness to him and his
Yes.
faithfulness to us.
And he honors that.
He does.
He absolutely honors that.
And we've had conversations over and over and over again that as the increase comes to us,
Mhm.
so does our increase back to him.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like we know tithe is 10%.
Yeah. We
We-
automatically put another giving back on our docket.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, where are we going to double our giving? In what area or what new person are we going to put on?
Yeah.
And one of our favorite things to do now is to give to like individual people that
Yeah.
we know it's like that we can bless. I have some family members that we help out and different things. And it's like to be able to do that
Oh, yes.
is just such a blessing because I remember being blessed by that and not knowing where my next meal was going to come from in college.
Yeah.
And my second year roommate, Kelsey, kept me fed. And I told her she was a godsend because I didn't eat at all. She was the reason I ate.
The support system.
Yeah, I'm like, I had no money. But because of that, and to think that I could help just a smidgen with that. And we talk about with moving up, and it's God's favor on Jacob. He started in like as a AA, and then got into the tech industry.
Administrative assistant, not an
Yeah.
alcoholic anonymous.
Yeah.
To the faith.
Well, some days, you know,
Yeah.
do what you're doing with maybe a little bit. Maybe a little bit. Like, people are thinking, yeah, beard, hat, yeah, I can see AA. Yeah. That does make sense, you know. You just have to take that off. You know.
Might be to decline the next invitation.
What's on that? Wait, administrative assistant, yes.
Administrative assistant. And then he got entered into the tech industry and his salary almost doubled. And
Right.
then was started at a position where he didn't have any, like he had his degree, but he didn't have any experience and started at a well position as a level 1. And then was there for 2 years and then got a job as a manager in another company, which is like 3 jumps up from where he was.
Right, yeah.
And salary almost doubled again. And then stepped up within, even at that job for 5 years now. He's been at the job he's at
Okay.
for 5 years and has moved up 3 positions since then. He's now director
Nice.
and the youngest director in his company. At the age of 28, I think he became director, 28 or 29, he became director. And God just has given him supernatural wisdom and favor where he's at.
Yeah, for sure.
And I always laugh and I was like, he's a nerd with social skills, so he's gonna climb in this industry. So
And he got God, so
yeah.
that's going to expedite the process. I'm bulletproof, guys. So, I don't know if you know.
Let you know what you're getting.
You always say that? A nerd with social skills?
Yeah.
I haven't heard that one yet.
Some people like
Great
nerd with social skills. Moved up.
On the aisle. It's on record. It's on record now.
And so
Merch. All I see is merch, Jake. That's the next big thing for you. We can get t-shirts. We can get t-shirts. Hats, t-shirts, buttons. People love buttons.
cool button. So yeah, so we just sat and just, thank God for all the increases
Yeah.
and was sure to wanted to keep an open hand.
Yes.
So like, Lord, if you're going to get it to us, we want you to know you can get it
Yeah.
through us, wherever you say, whatever you want to do.
And that's the reason he gives it to you.
And
Because he knows I can trust you with that.
and we love it. We get so excited on like when his company has given him some great increases in ability to get increase coming up in the years. And so we're like, okay, well, if that turns out like, what do we want to do with it? Where do we want to give? And we're like, let's treat our family and talk about like how we want to take them on vacation and buy these things and like our family, like my parents and Hannah and her kids and like doing all of that and wanting
to adopt it. So watch the kids.
we're gonna like, how are we gonna give? What are we gonna do? And thinking about that, and it's like that's where we get our joy from being able to give back.
Yep.
And I think of these people who work their whole life just to make more and more and more and more.
Yes.
And they get to the top, there's no one to share it with.
Yep.
And it's like that. Then what is the purpose of making more for us? Like it's to be able to be and enjoy life with people.
He's gonna die with a bunch of money in the bank.
Yeah, and not that our kids need more stuff because we make them. Thatcher broke his tablet. He like playing rough with it and elbowed it and broke the screen.
He
put his stomach on it. I don't even know how he did it.
Yeah.
Wow.
He was just laying on his tablet and he ended up cracking the screen.
Yeah.
Like, just-
Well, he had elbowed it and cracked it
Is that what
at
he
the
did?
first time. And so it's like, it had a warranty on it.
Yeah.
But we made him work for $50, raise up to $50
Gotcha.
to replace it. At that time, we didn't realize we had a warranty. We thought we were going to replace the screen.
That's okay. That was lesson. It doesn't.
We're like, Thatcher, you're going to have to earn money and you can't play with your tablet. And we do it for quiet time. It's a learning tablet. They're like, you can't play with it or Ollie's. And he's like, okay. And anytime he's like, Mom, can I do that for $1?
Yeah.
And it's like, yes. And he would feed the dogs. And it took him about like 4 or 5 weeks to earn the money. And once he got to 50, then we realized we had the warranty. We sent it in and got it replaced.
Right.
But the hope was, I mean,
wanting to teach at a young age that
Right.
like, hey, if you want to do things, we had a fundraiser at school and it's one of those
Right.
things asking for money.
Yes.
Not a fan of it.
I hate them.
So we knew the amount we wanted to give. So we had them go to different family members and ask for different jobs and
Yeah.
gave our family members the money to give them
Gotcha.
to work and do that. I mean, they're 5.
Yeah.
But wanting to put that in at a young age because
Yeah.
they are going to grow up privileged in the sense of compared to other kids where we have it, but we don't want them to grow up blinded privilege.
Yes.
We want them to be aware of their privilege.
Yeah.
and that's, that's something that I recognized in myself is that I knew that, like, I knew growing up that my grandfather had money. He had money.
Gotcha.
He had a very successful career and he was like very good at his job. And I knew that if I really needed it, I could go and ask him for money. And one time I did. I
Right.
did go and ask him for money. I didn't end up taking it. I just wanted to see if it was something that I could do. But I opted not to actually take a loan from him, but instead to try to work to get some of that money
Right.
because of a relationship that I also have had with him. And that's a long story for another day. But
Good
what I
relationship.
remembered when talking to Thatchy about like, hey, you broke your tablet, what I wanted him to get out of that was, hey, like, it means something different when it's a gift versus when it's something that you worked
You got to
Yeah.
work for. Yeah.
and so my hope, and we'll see, he's 5, but my hope is that he will treat the tablet nicer,
Yes.
even though we still have another year on the warranty. My
Right.
hope is that he'll treat it nicer because he now worked for it.
Yeah.
And it's not like I've got the kid out in the back breaking rocks, and,
Good.
and chain ganging it up. Just,
Dig that hole deeper.
yeah, he's not like making license plates on a assembly line. It's just, it's feed the dogs, help daddy take out the trash, help daddy cook breakfast, or like just
Yeah.
little stuff.
Well, it,
And
it
actually-
creates a mindset.
It does.
Yeah.
And an
Right.
expectation.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like, man, if
Right.
I want something, okay, there's a process to it.
Yeah.
But also
Right.
the accountability that's
Yes.
lacking in a
Yeah.
lot of life.
And he would ask, he's like, can I pick up my toys and get $1? I was like, no, because that is something that we do because we're a family and this
Sure.
is our match.
Right.
I was like,
Right.
but you can do extra things and try to make that line of not just
Yeah.
like doing your normal stuff
Right.
or helping me.
More
like,
expecting, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
like, okay, well, I like made my own bed and picked up my
Right.
stuff.
I
It's
said,
like,
oh,
no, that's
you're
not being
like-
an active member in this
First
family.
message is there.
Yeah, that's your
And so then, he's
that's
like,
the
oh,
line you would
that's
give,
just because
actually.
it's the right thing. And I was
Right.
like, yes.
Yeah,
She's like,
correct.
what's a more thing?
That's
So,
another thing. That's
what's a
another-
more
Can
thing?
you just give me a list?
Yeah,
I'll just
so
go-
we tried.
I'm gonna go through that list.
But yeah, just to set it up, and we're still in the weeds of it.
Oh yes.
But it was also a lot of fun seeing some of the things that he came up with when he didn't have like a tablet to play during a quiet time. Like,
Yeah.
And I remember it was just recently where he made his own playing cards,
Mhm.
or like
Nice.
he
Yeah.
had
He
decided
cut papers and wrote the numbers.
I
on.
used to do that.
made a game with
Yeah,
it.
and we played Go Fish with his card. And then he's very analytical and loves that kind of stuff. So I taught him how to play 5 Crowns,
Nice.
which is a card game. And so they're like, okay. And then you tell he's very straightforward. And Ollie's like, Thatcher, what are you keeping in your hand? He's playing with my parents. And they're like, don't tell him. Thatcher goes, I don't know. I'm not sure. And I was like, that's an honest answer.
Something here. I don't know. I don't know. That's awesome. So now that you bring them up,
Mhm.
let's talk a little bit about. So we know the challenges of the twins.
Yes.
You can start wherever you want to, and obviously not talk about anything you don't want to.
Yeah.
But just kind of walking through some of those challenges. and how God walked y'all through those things as a family,
Yeah.
just wherever.
I'll start off by saying that you know, we can mention pregnancy. Every pregnancy that Megan has gone through has been wild.
Yeah.
She's had the wildest symptoms of random things, like carpal tunnel in both of her hands for no
yes, I
reason,
remember that.
because she was pregnant, like just randomness. And so
I thought that was from her slapping you,
no.
but no.
Double faces.
That was like,
No,
wow,
5 times
poor
5
thing.
is
I was
supposed to
getting
be-
beat down at home.
No, that's the bruises that I hide from the tree.
That's
If you see me wearing long sleeve, it's been a rough
It's
day.
wild. Yeah, it's
sleep.
Extra stupid.
You know, like honestly, it's like
Yeah, I used to tell this joke that that I actually had a way for you to tell Megan's mood. Anytime that she was upset, it was really easy to tell because half of my face would be bright red with a handprint right here.
right there.
Real question. No. So I can't say that from my perspective, at least going through the pregnancy, like I don't know, I always felt terrible for Megan, and maybe I'm just too empathetic to like the pain that she was going through.
Yeah.
But it also, doesn't help when you get a call when you're at work in Franklin, and she's like you pick up the phone and like, hey, what's going on? And she's crying,
Yeah.
like actively crying because she can't open a jar of salsa, and she's asking like, I know you don't want me to like. She's like, I can't ask you to come home, but I want you to come home and open the jar of salsa.
I need the salsa.
And I'm like, I'm
I need
45
the
minutes away, girl. Like, I love you. Like, the day is long.
3 weeks. I was at
Yeah.
home.
Not the neighbor's door.
And my carpal tunnel, I got locked myself in the bathroom because I couldn't open the door. Like, it was so
Wow. Wow.
I mean, you feel bad because you're like, yeah, I want to come home. And, you do eventually get home and you see oven mitts and pliers strewn about the kitchen because she's doing everything she can to put up.
There's broken glass when she
That's
just
what I expected. I expected to see a broken bottle, but I think you eventually got it open.
I don't think so.
Oh, okay, maybe I just opened it when I
Yeah.
and by that point you're like, I don't want salsa anymore. But like from that, there's always that part of it. But I think the more impactful and more interesting part of that conversation around what it was like for the kids after they had been born, after the trauma of the first 4 months.
I'll touch on that before you go into the after.
Okay, all right.
So having the boys, they came early.
Yeah.
So they came at 32 weeks. Full term is 40. So
Yeah.
they came 2 months early. My water broke. We were trying to stop it, and we're just like, okay. They were measuring a great size. So they came out. Ollie was 4 pounds 2 ounces. Thatcher was 4 pounds 15 ounces. Like solid kids for twins and being 2 months early.
Right.
But I didn't have to have a C-section, which was great.
Yes.
But I knew that they would have to go to the NICU, but I couldn't even like hold them. And so being a first time mom, I'm trying not to get emotional about it, but being a first time mom, you don't feel like you're a mom. Like I didn't feel any ownership of those babies.
Right.
And then to turn and quick and focusing on fighting for your life, because I started hemorrhaging a lot, and Jacob is seeing all the blood on the floor, and I'm not seeing it.
Listen, y'all. That's not a podcast story, but that's wild.
That's rough. My wife went through the same thing. Yeah, we're not having any more kids. That's it.
Yeah, they had to deliver in an operating room because the chance of doing C-section is so high with twins. So you have to deliver it in an operating room.
Yeah.
So there was 11 people in that room, 11 nurses and doctors.
Wow.
And they're shooting me up with stuff trying to get it to stop, and it's just not. And they have to put a saline balloon in there to help contract.
Gotcha.
And they put me back. They gave me so much Pitocin, it put me back in like active labor. I was contracting like every 10 seconds.
Oh, wow.
So they have to give me more like an epidural, and they're like, your blood pressure's in the 200s. And they're like, she is like, it just went crazy for a second. They got it under control. And then later, like I pushed the balloon out there. Like, you delivered the equivalent of a third kid. Like, we've never had a woman push this out.
Wow.
It was like, all right.
I don't need this balloon here.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean,
Yeah.
I'm walking into the first time that we've ever had kids.
Yeah.
And I'm walking into it felt like a convention of people.
Yeah.
Like, she's laying down on a table, right? She's got one doctor specifically about for her, like to make sure that she is alive. She's got another doctor, not nurse, doctor specifically for the kids, the delivery of the kids. They both have their own support staff of 2 or 3 nurses.
Yeah.
And then the NICU, knowing that these were likely high chance to go into the NICU, had
They're
2
there.
nurses each per
Wow.
kid,
Yeah.
standing in the corner waiting, just waiting. And I'm like, the amount of people that were in that room specifically just for Megan and for the kids was astounding to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's also funny having the twins first and then having Gemma later. Like, I'm walking into this family like, all right, let's do this. Let's see all these people. Then like 3 people in a room.
Correct.
It's like, you're not having twins. You have to get special treatment this time.
Yeah, right. Where's our hair makeup? What I'm used to.
And the NICU was hard. Like, it was
Yeah,
incredibly hard.
Very hard. I didn't get
Yeah.
to see him. I had him at like 3 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
And I didn't get to see him until 4 o'clock that afternoon.
Oh, wow.
Jacob like rolled me in and I'm trying to hold them and it's like you can't really hold them.
Right.
Thatcher went, they had to put him in like a bag going him to
Right.
the NICU.
Hormones are going crazy.
Yeah, trying to like, okay, well, I just had him and they had to do a couple blood infusions for me.
Right.
And it's such a mental game now.
Yeah.
And once the first time I had to fight for one of my kids in the hospital,
Right.
which was Ollie 2 months later, I now like go in with full confidence with doctors. It's like, I'm going to tell you how you're going to treat my kid.
Yeah.
But at that point, it's like, can I touch him? Can I do this? You don't
Right.
feel you have ownership. I didn't feel like a mom so much that I didn't let them will me out of the hospital because I'm like, no, that's for moms leaving with their babies.
Right.
I'm not that.
Gotcha.
And just trying to get over it and then going to see them, try to go 2-3 times a day while
Right.
they're there. And they were there for a month. And then
Okay.
a week and a half in, I got the flu like horribly.
Wow.
So I couldn't go. Mom would go
Right.
every day. And then it's like his families want to go see them and my parents are, and you're grateful for the help. But at the same time, you're like, I don't want, and there's a camera that people can see him that my family got access to look at him. And when they moved him, I didn't tell them the new access code because I'm like, I don't want them to see my babies. They're mine. And I didn't feel I had that. And grateful for the help, but it's like, I don't want anybody else there. Like, I want to be their mom and I don't feel like I am. And then we got them home and they were healthy. They came out like miracle babies. They were just in for development.
Yeah.
Like they came out breathing on their own. They didn't have to have tubes.
Right.
Like they were,
Nice.
they're phenomenal.
Yeah.
They just needed to develop to 36 weeks.
Yeah, I was about to say, so they came out at 32
Mhm.
weeks, which, I mean, very early.
Yeah.
Very early for babies. And so,
Yeah.
I mean,
And a lot don't make it. We just had friends who she had her twins at 32 weeks and one didn't make it.
yeah.
And so you hear this story of that.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay,
Yeah.
but we had no reason to believe anything else. Their heart
Yeah.
rate stayed good.
Yeah.
And so, but we had to face some medical stuff. And in the middle of COVID,
Yeah.
everything, the bottom fell out after, and we're having to, something just felt off with Ollie.
Mhm.
And we're having to tell the doctor, like, hey, he's throwing up a lot.
Right.
And as a first time mom, now granted, I have 30 first cousins. My mom is one of 10.
Right.
We're in the middle. I grew up with babies. I grew up with all of this stuff. This isn't my first rodeo being around a kid.
Yeah.
And I'm like, they're throwing up and they're like,
I'd never seen one of these aliens.
What is
Yeah.
Like guys.
yeah. And they're like, a tablespoon of throw up can look like big. And I was like, please do not insult my intelligence.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I have one baby to compare him to, and he's perfectly fine. This one is not
Yeah.
doing well. And his pediatrician, we love her. We love the pediatrician. And it was working against her, all her knowledge, because his symptoms for things wasn't showing like normal.
Right.
He was gaining weight. He wasn't throwing up every single bottle, but he was projectile vomiting.
Yeah.
I was like still trying to pump, and because, that's the best for them. And then trying to double feed them at the same time. And they became allergic to milk and they were bleeding. And it's just like, okay, well, you can stop. So we had to go to Nutramigen, which is like $40 for a can of formula.
And we had to do that. We had to do, I think it was 4 cans a week.
At least, because they had to take
I
more
remember spending,
to bring up their caloric intake.
weight and everything.
And we had to put so many vitamins in there.
And we're also trying to find our identity as parents amongst all of this.
Yeah. And we don't
What's
have
going
it
on?
now because Dad works in a hospital.
Right.
So he wasn't coming around and Mom wasn't coming around
Yeah.
because they're so scared to pass on any of these things. new babies. And so it's like something that was supposed to be time where, because our family just rallies, like we would be there and that was supposed to be filled with that. We couldn't. And then I'm in the trying to fight for him. And then he has this hernia that they're like, oh, it's fine unless it's emergency. We're not doing any emergency stuff. And I'm like, okay. Then Easter, the day after Easter, I'm like, he's running a fever. Like this isn't his hernia and his belly button's not pushing back in. And doctor's like, oh, we take him in. And she's like, no. And they're pushing in. He's screaming.
Yeah.
And so then blood work is what helped us. His white blood cell count was double what it should be.
Oh, wow.
And she was like, get him to Vanderbilt now.
Yeah.
So it came from like me pushing, and it was 2 months of this.
Yeah.
Because it was March. January, February, March, April, May. Yeah. No, March, April. So it was months of fighting for this. And I tell Jacob, I'm like, hey, we're going. I pick him up. We go there. And they tell us at the door, they're like, only one parent can go with them.
Still COVID.
Still COVID. And I
COVID
start
protocol.
and I was like, I know it's not your fault, but I just start crying.
Yeah.
And I'm back there. We don't know what's going on. He's thrown up again. I'm like, he hasn't eaten.
Right.
He's this tiny little thing. And they
Good.
long story short, they catch stuff. The surgeon was like, I know he has a bulge in his belly button and they don't know why. He has a mass in his stomach. And the ultrasound, she's like, does he throw up? And I was like, all the time. Yes. And she's like, I think he has this thing called pyloric stenosis. And I was like, okay. And the surgeon's like, there's never more than one thing wrong with the baby. He's like, and I know what's wrong with him is that he has a mass under his belly button. And I was like, well, this other person told me something that makes sense.
Right.
So I need you to check. And that's when I started getting my footing as a mom.
Yeah.
I was like, I need you to check. And I told all his nurses, like, please check. And so we go through the night, they're emptying his stomach, get him ready for surgery. And he's like, do you have any questions? And surgeons are great. They're not people. And so I'm asking questions and I was like, okay, you keep on saying mass. Are you thinking cancer? And he was like, well, no, when we go in there. And I was like, okay. I was like, how long is it going to be? And he's like, as long as it needs to take. And I looked at him and I said, we are done talking. And I looked at his nurse and said, is he a good surgeon? And she said, yes, ma'am. I said, that's all I need to know. And so then he had to come back and kind of echo. He's like, okay, well, we found he had Meckel's diverticulum, which is a cyst attaching to his bowels that was protruding into his belly button hernia. And they had to remove it. And then they checked, and he also had pyloric stenosis,
Which is inflammation of the stomach lining. So his stomach
was holding in all of the holding in his formula. So it was too big for it to drain. So it was holding in all of his formula. And he was throwing it back up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
He was throwing it back up, and the only way to fix it was surgery.
So we kept feeding him, and he kept throwing it up because he couldn't.
And we were they're like, feed him every hour to get him stuff. And I was like, there's something wrong if I have to do this. I don't understand what you're not getting.
That's not the answer, guys.
Yeah. And then they were trying to push us out, and he's still running fevers. And I was like, I don't feel comfortable. And the nurse, she said, you don't leave if you don't feel comfortable.
Right.
And she fought with me, and I was like, he still had an inguinal hernia. And in his little testes. And I was like, we would come and look for this. I was like, there's something off. And so they went from gonna discharge us to looking at it. We called the other surgeon, and they're looking at it. Then they brought in like an emergency ultrasound, and they're looking at it for a long time. And I know there's something off. And they're like, we need to rush him into emergency surgery. His intestines are obstructed.
Yeah.
Wow.
They're in there. And I was like, how would we have known that at home? How would we have known? Because nothing changed. It was so inflamed before, and they kept on pushing it off.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so then they rushed him.
Developmental. He's a growing baby. See my child.
Yes.
You're like, what's going on? What's happening?
So then they rushed him in, and it's 3 surgeries in less than 5 days. And they're like, that kid is special. And so that was great. I learned how to fight. However, I feel I haven't stopped fighting since then for medical stuff. So everything we caught is just because early things, they have sleep apnea. I had to get that taken care of and all this stuff.
Yeah. And we learned a lot about ourselves during this time. And to kind of help, like you mentioned it to kind of help paint the picture of like where we are mentally at this time. The kids are in the hospital, or one of our kids is in the hospital. I haven't quite yet moved into a new job, so our monthly budget is only hitting 0.
Yeah.
every month because I'm not driving into work because it's COVID, right?
Right.
Megan had to stop working, so we
Yeah.
have a very tight budget.
Yeah, because
We've
the job
got-
kept getting pushed back because of COVID. It's the
Job kept
position
getting-
that would
yeah.
have made up for my salary.
And so
Gotcha.
like we kept trying to figure that out. We've got kids in the NICU and those bills are not stopping.
No.
And you know, by the grace of God, we only ended up paying $15,000 for that.
Wow. That is.
However,
Yeah.
should we had not been had we been uninsured, it was $1 million for 2 kids in the NICU.
Yeah, this isn't
40
any
days.
surgeries or anything.
No,
It's just
just
NICU.
Just NICU. So we've got
Oh my
got
gosh.
that weighing on the back of our minds. We had to actually dispute some of those charges with Blue Cross Blue Shield because one of the doctors was out of network, but we didn't know. Like, how
Yeah.
would we ever know that
Right,
the
they don't
NICU
tell you that
doctor was
stuff
out of
either.
network? So
No,
like,
and I went back and looked, and I was like, I never talked to her.
Right.
She's not in there. I was like, I will fight you on this.
so
I was there every day.
Goodness.
we're talking about the intricacies of hospital billing
Mhm.
tacked onto tight budget, tacked onto brand new parents,
Yeah.
tacked onto been married for a couple of years, still learning each other,
Yeah,
tacked onto now these crazy medical things that Oliver was going through.
Right.
Yeah.
And like it compounds and it grows and nothing comes off of your mind. Like
Yeah.
it just keeps on growing. And so I mentioned all of that because I mean we all have pressures in life. We all do. You guys have your own stories of things that you've gone through, and I'm sure you can
Mhm.
empathize with that. But going in the middle of that, like I don't know that there would have been a visual cue. I don't know that there would have been something that you could have looked at us and said, "Oh wow, they're going through these 17 things right now."
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like you could probably look at us and be like, "Oh, they must not be sleeping because they have new kids." But like,
they were good sleepers. We got the trade off with our
Right.
kids.
Yeah.
People are like, your kids sleep. I was like, you don't want the trade off. We had
Yeah.
to do with so many other things.
Right.
God gave us sleep.
Right.
Yeah.
but it's you cannot look at any one person at any one point in their life and be like, "Oh, they're in a good place," or "Oh, they're in a bad place." You have no idea,
You have no idea.
not
Yeah.
a clue.
Yeah, like I only knew obviously because I'm close with your families.
Right.
Right. And so yeah, I would see you guys, and I remember there was times like you come to church and like, oh well, Jacob's not here because the other one's sick, or the other one is sick, or
Yeah.
right. And so you come in with the double armbands, and
Yeah.
I know it's tough, but I try to make light of it. So you know,
Yeah.
we joke about it, but
Yeah.
like just all the different things. And you and I have talked many times, just like trying to encourage you. Like, I know this all is rough, and
Yeah.
for lack of a better word, it sucks.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, just staying in that understanding, like, and I think you guys understand that, but in a different context, understanding that God is faithful,
Yeah.
right? Like you see it here, but then you're like, well, we're walking through this, and God is like, but I'm still faithful
Yeah.
here, right? I'm still faithful for your babies. I'm still faithful for your marriage.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think if I remember right, like one of the conversations you and I had was just remembering that your ladder is going to be greater,
Yeah.
right? Like, man, if all this is happening now, man, imagine, you know,
Yeah.
imagine, man, these little guys as teenagers,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? And all the joys. That doesn't mean like, oh, there might be some challenge. There may be, but man, the joy of we're here though.
Yeah.
You know, and whatever happens is God's got it.
Yeah.
Like sometimes we have to settle that in our hearts. Like, this is not fun. I don't want to do this, Lord. Like, why is this happening?
Yeah.
But getting to that place where we trust so deeply in our heart. Because you mentioned like career Christian.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we grow up and all that, but man, when life really happens, being a career Christian doesn't really prepare you for that.